Hello and welcome to Note to File, a clinical research podcast.
A collection of interviews, candid commentary, and general nonsense for the clinical research community.
Check us out at notetofilepodcast.com.
And now, without further ado, on to the show.
What's up, dudes and not dudes? Welcome to another Note to File. And there's a helicopter landing on the building right next door to me, so apologize for the loud noises. What's
Just
up?
wondering what you were doing over there.
I mean, I can't be blamed.
Sure.
Not this time. As far as you know. How's it going?
Good. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's kind of trope to talk about the weather, but we're getting some really weird fucking weather this weekend. So yeah, I'm cold is what I am.
Like that's happening like across the country, I guess, because we're supposed to get potentially like, I don't know, I've seen estimates up to like 21 inches of snow, which is basically going to ruin Oklahoma.
I mean, that would even shut shit down here in Wisconsin for a bit of time. But I mean, they already closed schools here for tomorrow. It's gonna be too cold. Like we're not getting any snow, but like when I wake up tomorrow, it's gonna be negative 18, and then the real feel is like negative 45 or something. So
that's what you get for living in fucking Wisconsin.
I had this conversation earlier with folks that was like, it's shocking the number of people who live in areas that are like not like the most habitable.
No, we humans are terrible. Like we shouldn't be living in half the places that we are.
Like not so smart.
Force it. I mean, have you read about like areas of like Arizona and even parts of California where they spend so much money on water, like that humans weren't meant to be living there, but you know what? Dang it. We're gonna do what we want to do.
I mean, there's a woman I work with who lives in Arizona, and like honestly, like we both tend to be very cold all the time, so I'm like low-key jealous of her on a consistent basis because even when it's really hot, it sounds amazing, but it's still that same concept. Like here, it's fucking frigid and terrible in the winter, and there it's just blistering hot in the summer, which personally actually probably more built for that concept. I was actually reading something that there's like genetic, how you experience cold and heat is like different. And so like, you know, the people who are like, oh, I hate being hot. My body just doesn't handle it well.
No, I get it.
There's the same thing for cold. And everyone's like, you're just being a wuss.
Yeah, I was going to say, those people are called wusses.
Yeah.
That's what they're called.
No. But anyway, so it's like this. I mean, but yeah, again, like it's super fucking hot in the summer. And then, yeah, there's no water. And that's a whole interesting concept too of, you know, what should we be doing? But
we'll cover that on our other podcast where we solve all the world's problems.
Cool.
Today is National Hot Sauce Day.
Ooh. Do you have a favorite hot sauce?
I really like Valentino's, just like, you know, kind of grocery store stuff, but like it's good. It's not like the super vinegary. It's not like Tabasco or what's Louisiana, whatever.
Yeah.
Shit. Like it's more of like a, you know, Mexican hot sauce. So it's probably my favorite. It's nothing
fancy
special, and I don't like the stuff like when I was young. I used to be like, yeah, give me hot sauce, and now I'm like, I'm an old man. I don't want to suffer for 3 days trying to look good. So I just wanted something that tastes good, you know.
I feel that I like the flavor of hot sauce rather than something. And I've always been kind of a puss when it comes to like spicy things, like, but I like the flavors of spicy things. But yeah, no, I feel like I like to try all like the little like niche ones.
Sure.
Where like you go to like hot sauce stores.
I only eat small batch artisanal hot sauces.
Well, you get some like really cool flavors that they like mess around with, which is fun. I also tend to also like the vinegary ones, but I'm a big sucker for vinegar.
I like them too. Like I'm not against them. I just generally tend to prefer.
What do you eat hot sauce on?
I don't know. Chicken wings. Everything. I mean, I'm one of those people that like if I have it near me, like I'll put it on almost whatever's around.
I'm a big fan on scrambled eggs.
Oh, say eggs are good. Pizza even? Put hot sauce on pizza.
And I know there's some like jokes about like hot honey being a super douchey, like trendy, like condiment right now, but I also really like hot honey on pizza.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know that I've had that much of it, but yeah.
Like you get some goat cheese and some pepperoni and hot honey, and it's
And since this is basically a food podcast,
So
I know you wanted to follow up on last week's.
So I'm not a crazy person. I'm going to start there.
I mean,
But
this doesn't prove you're not a crazy person.
but
Not be
because
wrong.
Tuesday, like National Cheese Day or something.
Yeah, that was
what it was or something.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about this, and I was like, yeah, there is like 1.4 billion pounds of basically American cheese sitting in caves in Missouri. Again, it's all like started based on like federal like funding concerns around like the dairy industry in the 70s. And so it was like federal subsidies that like somehow ended up like prices dropping, and so we had to buy the extra cheese, and that it just is now sitting in a cave in Missouri. What I was looking for, and now I'm down this a rabbit hole. It's like, can I get a tour of the cheese cave? Is this something I can do? But I thought it was fascinating.
Note to file soon, coming to you live from Government Cheese Central.
Maybe should make that happen now.
We'll see. And he's, we just need a cheese-based sponsor.
I'm not mad at that. I mean, I just go knock on some doors here in Wisconsin.
All right. If anybody knows any cheese, I don't know, what do they call them? What do they call cheese? What's a cheese maker? I bet there's a name for it.
I bet there is. I feel like it's somewhere in this brain, but not easily accessible.
Well, I thought you were
a cheesemonger is someone who like sells cheese.
Yeah. So that didn't really help.
And then there's like a concept. I feel like there's like, you know how like there's at wineries you have like the head like person. I don't even know. I don't know the names of these
like
either.
Sommeliers?
No, there is the version of that actually. There's like cheese
taster.
Yes,
professional cheese taster.
There is
cheese sommelier.
I actually had someone on my team who used to work for Sargento. Like their dad worked for the company, and then they worked in the summer. And there was someone who literally is their job is like taste it, like a quality control, but it's tasting it. And I was like, that would either be wonderful or like absolutely awful. Like how many like tastes of like a Sargento cheddar can you have in a certain amount of time? Like your palate.
Do you think they spit it out?
Into a bucket?
Yeah, that's like the cheese bucket.
All questions we should probably find answers to.
So yeah, if you work for Sargento or I don't know, Tillamook, reach out.
There you go.
We got you. Okay. I guess
I will absolutely plug that. You know what? I would love that type of sponsor. I want to make that
eat it on air. I mean, that's great.
We could cook recipes on air.
It's true.
I have so many ideas.
Well, this thing's really going to take a turn, isn't it?
I feel like it already has.
Right. All right. Well, what's been exciting this week? I don't know. I just thought this was kind of ironic, funny. I don't know the best word for it, but Pfizer CEOs, seems upset with RFK Jr. at his anti-science stance.
So I will say
it in Davos at the World Economic Forum. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I will say that, like, I am glad at least they're coming out and saying something. Like, I think there's some irony around it. There's some irony around it.
I did go ahead and pull this up, just showing that, Pfizer donated something like part of the 150 million towards the inauguration for Trump. So you kind of brought it on yourself, right? A little bit. I mean,
so I feel this way very strongly. I think some of the not clinical research related, but one of the more ironic ones, you see all these people who are super against DE&I. And there's all of these people who are like, well, this is terrible, I hate it. And then a bunch of white women lost their jobs because 60% of DE&I initiatives are towards women. And they're like, well, no, I didn't know this would happen. This is not what I voted for. I just didn't want the brown people to have privileges. Right. I didn't want this shouldn't affect me. And it's just like the short-sighted like ignorance that it's like it fully support it, but wait, it affected me. How I could never have anticipated that.
The leopards would never eat my face.
Right.
They did. Ever. Because of course they do, because that's what they do. Anyways, interesting. And look, obviously it's not good that we're having issues with sort of anti-vaccine stance. I say obviously, I guess there's probably a lot of people who disagree with that sentiment. Otherwise, this wouldn't be the topic that it is. But I don't know. Again, I've got to feel a little less sympathy for Pfizer. I mean, look, I feel sympathy for humankind simply because, none of that is good. But Pfizer wants to make a buck, right? And I assume they thought they were going to get some favor by donating a bunch of money, and then only to be screwed over in the end. And I'm sure deals will be made, and
and they'll come back and they'll support something that is completely anti whatever this is. They're following the money. And again, I mean, I think, like, again, I'm glad at this point, like, I'd rather people change their mind when encountering new information than sticking their head in the sand and be like, no, we supported it once, so I have to support it now forever. Great. I love that. If the motivations were more pure, but this just feels like, I'm supporting this, I'm going to give you money, and then now this is affecting my bottom line because it's changing how we're administering vaccines and what we're administering and cutting them back, which is cutting back my bottom line. So now I'm going to come out and say I'm against it. Again, like, I'm glad they are, because fundamentally I agree with the principle that we're fucking up a lot of things by changing our stance on vaccines. Personal opinion.
Right.
But again, it's just kind of I wish it felt better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. You could say that 10 more times, because there's a lot of silliness. And I found this interesting at the end because it's something we've talked about recently, is Pfizer CEO mentioning the meteoric rise of Chinese innovation. And I liked this. I mean, I kind of liked this quote, like, are you going to slow China down in discovering new cancer medicines? Why? What's the benefit to humanity? Which is kind of something we touched on during the last, I mean, benefit is benefit regardless of who's the, country responsible for it. I mean, right. I guess, again, we don't get the money, but is that, I mean, I guess, that is the point. Never mind. Sorry. What was I thinking?
I mean, I think it depends. And I don't know. I think it depends on who you talk to. And I think, I don't know, it sucks because there are so many people in our industry who truly are doing it for the right reasons.
Of course, there are. Yeah.
And who are pursuing things for the greater good and for the benefit of humans and the public. But I think there's, unfortunately,
I guess I've just found it weird to mix nationalism with medical advancement, like, I mean,
or
I guess
advancement,
get it. Like, everyone wants to be the leader at the thing.
We wanted to make it to the moon.
Yeah. I mean,
and
this feels
arguably,
because if we never made it to the moon, who gives a shit? Because it's the fucking moon. But this is people are dying of preventable diseases.
Well, arguably, and that, I mean, I'm going to go back to the moon race because I think that did it.
We should go back to the moon.
We could go back to the moon. I think arguably it did advance, the space race created a race. It created an environment where nationalism drove improvement in the technologies, and it forced it to happen at a faster clip than it did. So embedding it could potentially do that. But again, to your point, it is different as far as the outcomes and what we're doing. But does this but the issue being is that we're not acting like it.
You're saying it can be healthy competition.
Right. It's like the capitalist market, right?
China.
Also,
China's famously known for being capitalist.
Famously known for it. But nationalism is a big important factor there.
Yeah, that's fair. That is true.
Unrelated, but super fascinating. Did you know Earth is going to have another moon for the next 50 years?
Made it up.
No, it's they think it might be a moon fragment from the moon that's blasted off by a crater, but now is in orbit or something until 2086 or something.
I did not know that.
So we're gonna have another it's not a full moon. It's how Pluto, whatever their status of a planet is, it's that version of the moon. Anyway.
Well, you know what? We'll bring it up on the next. We'll bring up an article on the next episode.
See, I'm so helpful. I'm so helpful.
Yeah, giving us more work to do.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Fair enough. I thought this was interesting just because I feel like I haven't heard a lot about decentralized clinical research in a little while. It's kind of quieted down. I mean, would you agree with that?
I absolutely would agree. I mean, even in the past year, I think it's quieted down.
And so now we're seeing Vibrant, which is a company I'm not familiar with.
I'm not either.
But they're apparently a leading SaaS data company in the field of precision medicine research in collaboration with Fred Hutch Cancer Center. getting a $17 million contract awarded through BARDA. Looks like they're doing, I mean, this stuff, and again, I don't know that much. I'm not that hip to, how these grants work, but I believe this one's also around COVID.
Okay.
I had another article that I thought this was the better one, but I think I chose poorly, but sometimes that happens. But it sounds like they're able to do, obviously ePro, they're going to be able to do biospecimen collection remotely.
Okay.
I think it's interesting again that, I feel like there's a lot of big names who do this kind of stuff. And again, maybe I'm just ignorant. If anyone out there knows more about Vibrant, I'd be curious to hear. I tried to Google them and look through their news a little bit, but there wasn't necessarily a lot.
Is it something that came out of the Fred Hutch, University of Washington, Seattle Children's hydro organization? You know what I mean? Sometimes these groups will have incubators for their own tech.
Yeah, fair.
And it comes out, maybe it's something like that.
It could well be something to look into. Again, I think it's interesting to see again. Just I feel like again, DCT was such this big, silly, plastered everywhere kind of deal, and then I just feel like it kind of vanished. And I'm sure it didn't vanish entirely. Now it's just basically again, if you have ePro, I feel like, are you DCT? Or is it DCT if you use electronic patient-reported outcomes? Or is that considered a DCT component or what?
I mean, I would say it's a component of it, but I feel like this is any big new buzz thing like DCT was this is all this, but it's no, that's a component of how we're gonna execute in the future. It's not this whole siteless trials initiative push. People took it to the nth degree and said it's gonna do this. And I feel like any sort of big hype is gonna be similar. DCT components are gonna be just fundamentally a part of research moving forward. Not all trials, obviously, but people are going to have components that are, done not at the site potentially.
Yeah, I guess yes, that is true. And again, I think, to your point, siteless was never probably really
realistic
an option. And look, I still haven't really seen much, if any, movement because they came out with the whole decentralized guidance. They're basically yeah, sure, use local HCPs, and you occasionally see groups talking about it, almost never sites, but other people who are local HCP involvement, because they don't understand how fucking hard it is to get local HCP involvement. Probably something you saw, when you were doing more you were doing that
Oh.
in your last job,
yeah, when I was
with
when I was doing in the patient recruitment space at the startup a couple of years back. I mean, I think it's super again, it's super important, but there's not a magic fix to be oh, just include the community providers. It's okay, do you know what that means? And even getting people engaged, willing, and then having to execute it is a hot mess.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It seems cool, and in theory, there should be ways to do things, but some things are just going to be hard.
I mean, yes, that's true, and I guess that's to be understood. It's something I posted about recently too. It's just going to be hard. It's going to be hard. That's why I get annoyed though when it's with the oversimplification some people make of these things, and it's what people who aren't doing it. Who are this is the thing and it's going to work, and I'm yeah, easy for you to say.
Even in theory, if it makes sense, it's all the right reasons. Execution is different. Well, and you have a question
from YouTube, which we don't often get. Hey, quit trying to click it when I click it.
So yeah, for your
Jonathan,
trials.
What's up, Jonathan? Yeah, so Jonathan's asking what percentage of activities are done off-site, or at least have the option to do at home. Almost none. And I guess I guess let me backtrack, because there's ePros that are done in almost all studies, to some degree or another. I guess I never really considered that DCT. It existed before DCT became a buzzword. We already had people doing, surveys and stuff from their phones, or we gave people devices before DCT was a thing. That's why it feels sort of shoehorned in. We're already doing it. What are you talking about? But, we saw a little bit of mobile nursing during COVID. I don't really see that offered anymore. In fact, we had a somewhat recent instance as a big sponsor, a patient who lives a couple hours away, maybe even 3 hours away, which isn't uncommon in Oklahoma, but they couldn't make it to site. And we're like, we want to send somebody out. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to cover the cost of it. We're like, what? Like, it seemed crazy to me. So I would say very little is, done offsite, or even if the option, even if we wanted to do it, is available. So
Do you think that's like consistency and quality based, or is that cost based?
I don't know. I have to think, if you go and read about the, because like, I know like we want to get Ken Getz back on here. We had to cancel on him because I know he writes about some of this stuff, but like he wrote about, cost savings with DCT. But if you read it, it's very confusing, and it's almost like they're using these very weird metrics, which lead me to believe that DCT is actually way more expensive. And I have to think, like, I mean, to have mobile nurses just available all the time to go to the middle of fucking nowhere to like see a patient, that can't be cheap.
And like you lose the benefit of centralization, right? Like if there's like central materials, functions, etc., like at some level that deteriorates with DCT.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that's the irony in a way, is like, all these the alliance of multi-specialty research. I mean, they're all about centralization is going to save research. Right. And then you've got the DCT being like, no, decentralization is going to make research better. And I know those are sort of two different sides of the coin, one being operations and the other being like the actual patient part. But somebody's still got it. Those things work together. You know what I mean? Right. Like a patient can't enroll themselves. Well, I guess, I don't know. Maybe, I guess that's maybe that's the question. Yeah. Time for iTower clinical launch trials on wheels. I mean, back when all this came out, like I spent way too much time making an illustration of like a van with, our logo on it. I mean, I would do that. Like if a sponsor was like, hey, you can run this trial out of a, RV. And frankly, with most trials you could, I think, I would absolutely do that. I would go to a rural area, set up shop, try to enroll patients. I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that like so much of what we've seen, the sort of innovators out there and the, actual people doing the work are not like aligned enough with each other. Because if I go to a sponsor and like, hey, I'm going to do this, they're like, no, you're not. This is our study. What are you talking about? You're not doing that. That's stupid. I'm like, what? But the DCT thought leaders said this is a good idea and that like sponsors want it. So why can't we do it? So, again, I think it's just we're not all aligned as much as people pretend that we are. I've had these conversations with sponsors, I know I've come off as very anti-DCT, but I've gone to sponsors and been like, we want to do this thing. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
So, we just shut up and do our jobs. Anyways, I'm curious to see if we see more, because it's been 5-6 years since, COVID-19. That was, 7 years ago at this point. That's when DCT really, and again, I'm sure it was even before that, or they claim it was before that. So it's been a hot minute.
It became popular, but I think that's true with any buzzword. Like AI was around and being leveraged in capacities before it became the thing that people talked about.
Yeah, I invented it.
And it will be behind after you invented
84.
it. Okay, cool.
Anyways,
just a prodigy.
Yeah, just all downhill from there, though. And then let's end on a fun one, because I thought it was fun. On Reddit, of course. If you had to name your baby after a clinical research term, what would you name them?
I want to know what brain this came from. It
came from Burnt Out CRA. So that probably describes, describes a lot of you. There's some good ones in here. Susar is a good one. Of course, people being silly with super long names. Clario for a boy or IQV for a girl. Do you hate your kid? Another good one I thought you would probably appreciate is Viva. Viva's on there. And then somebody referencing the Viva Vault platform has its own subreddit. So, which I looked at, didn't seem like it was very poppin'. So whoever runs that subreddit, if you want some help, hit me up,
We'll make it pop off.
Placebo, Bo for short. I don't know. What about you? You got anything jump out for you?
I mean, I feel like a lot of them are like the names are fascinating to me. I would not absolutely not name my child after anything like this. I also find it fascinating when people name their children after things in general.
Well, sure. Well, I mean, everything is.
Well, okay.
Every name is a thing. Named after a thing to some degree, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fair. But like, people are like, oh, I named this after like my favorite movie character. Like, I always find that a little odd. I don't know. Maybe I'm just old school that way. What would you? Do you have any that pop out for you? I don't think about it. I have not put the time in, obviously.
I think I would name him E-Pro. It sounds like futuristic, I
was gonna say it reminds me of like C-3PO.
Yeah.
It's like a robot name.
Exactly.
Ecoa and E-Pro.
They come from the future. Anyways, that's all I got. I thought that was kind of at least a funny one to end on. All right. Well, anything else exciting? Scope's coming up. A lot of scope announcements out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a week and a half away. February, I don't know, 2nd through it's basically all that week. It's a long one. Mm-hmm. It's that whole week. So not next week, but the week after. So first week in February. Which is, I mean, it sort of kicks off the spring conference season, which is going to be on the road a bit, but it'll be fun to see folks, which is always good, and catch up. So I wish it was not in Orlando, but I feel like I've been there a lot recently, but that's okay. There's so many places to visit.
Orlando.
Always in Orlando.
Home of Steve Wimmer. That's what it's most famous for.
O-Town.
Shout out. Cool. We'll be back next week, right?
More sticky notes, and then we'll eventually get some guests scheduled. So it's not just us blathering on, but eventually.
We'll get some people on here that you want to hear talk. But until then, this is what you're stuck with. So.
Cool.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you
next week.
Thanks for listening to Note to File. We're committed to continuing to bring you independent and unfiltered coverage of the clinical trial industry.
We want to talk about what you want to hear. So if you have something on your mind, hit us up at notetofilepodcast.com.